the program Issues of the Moment. My name is Chimezie Ozems. In the past two editions of our program, we focus our attention on the governor Abia needs in 2023. On this very edition of the program, we shall continue our conversation on the search for Abia governor. And this time we are going to take a look from the religious that we take Abia to the promised land. Are you saying that since the restoration of democracy in 1999, that Abia has been unlocking in the area of leadership?
Obviously, yes. We can have to our own understanding, and as we can see the indices around us in the states, we have had technocrats, we have had business tycoons, we have also had academicians that have run the state. But we don't have evidence of good leadership in the state. And so we know that the Abia state has not had the required David that we are looking for. Thank you very much.
Okay, Reverend Williams, do you completely agree with him that yes, that we are lagging behind among the states in the southeast geopolitical zone? Do you agree with him?
Absolutely, because there are no tangible evidences. Since 1999 till this date, Abia State has always been behind. So I totally agree with him.
Okay, I still remember that when Abia clocked 30 years, that was August last year, 2021, the governor claimed that his administration has rehabilitated and constructed about 150 roads across the state. Don't you think that it's a plus for the sitting governor when you consider what I may call the unimpressive performance of the past two governors that ruled the state from 1999 to 2015? Reverend Lemide.
Yes, we can say that the governor has assessed the work he has done so far, but the citizenry also have their own testimonies of the work so far done. We have most of the projects that are off the roads. They are not there to reckon with. For example, the Fox Road that is also overrun. We have the Ngwa Road, and we have other sides of the roads that are not accessible for now. So we have really not come to witness what we are expecting. Thank you very much.
Okay, Reverend Williams, don't you think that it's not possible for a governor to meet or to surmount all the challenges confronting his state within 8 years when you consider that government is a continuum? Don't you think that the present administration has tried? Maybe next year he will hand over the mantle to another person who will continue from where he stopped.
Yeah, the problem we have in Abia State is that every election period will go back to the former manifesto. The state should be progressive. We can't be campaigning with Fox Road, Abowore Road, Ngwa Road over the years. Since 1999, that has been their campaign. I am talking about Abia specifically because this is where I reside. I've been in this town since 1976. You can imagine how many years. And over the years, every aspirant will come and tell you, I'll fix the road. 8 years will go, another government will come and say, I'll fix the road. They keep fixing a particular road. I believe that if they have done much, the present administration wouldn't have been talking about Fox Road, Ngwa Road, Abo Road, and stuff like that. Those roads were done in the early 80s during Bakwe regime. And everybody saw that those roads lasted like 3 decades. So I can't count that as a progress. So we are looking at the incoming governor to be a man of audacity, a man who has boldness, a man who can confront the challenges of the Abians, a man who can take the bull by the horn, a man who's not afraid of anybody, a man who can sit down and take decisions and go by it. And of course, if you think you don't have what it takes, you resign. So that people who have what it takes will continue. We can't be waiting for people to come and tell us again that next year we'll be talking about Fox Road, Ngwa Road, Abo Road, you know. And look at the molestation on the roads now. This morning, somebody abused me. You know, why coming to this place? Touting everywhere. If there is good governance, we can't be experiencing those things. You look at insecurity. We are looking for a man who will stand and say, enough is enough. Even if it is 10% that he did, that 10% will be thoroughly done, and then the next person will move on. That's governance.
Okay. I want to do a follow-up on that.
Okay, go ahead.
The follow-up is this. We are not only talking about roads, we are talking about template of governance. Abia State does not have a surviving and a running template of governance. What do I mean and how do I mean? Take Imo State, for example. Imo State has been having some insurrection. There is a lot of crisis going on.
Yes.
There, some bombings has been done at Izombe and some other things. We have heard of unknown gunmen and some other things like that. But whereas those things are going on, the system of governance is still running. Salaries are being paid. People are moving very well. In Abia State, what we can always boast of, just like you have said, immediately you leave your gate and come out on the road, two things you will notice are either armed forces or tax forces. These two things are very persistent and they are running ipso facto, whether things are fine or not. So whatever vices that is going on in the state does not affect these two systems. And we want a system of governance that can that can lead the people to the success of their time. Thank you very much.
Okay, Reverend Silva, in the course of this very conversation, you talked about the qualities the next governor should possess in 2023. Are you saying that the sitting governor lack all those qualities? Is that what you're saying?
Well, to an extent. I may go to say to an extent. Because the governor is the chief security officer, the highest authority in the state.
That is on paper.
Well, I'm not a politician, but I know that leadership demands boldness, demands courage, it demands audacity. I cannot be dancing to the tune of the masses when I know that this tune is not favoring the masses. Tune of the people, the masses may be right sometimes, they may be wrong. But when they are wrong, you as the leader should stand tall and correct it. When you assign a responsibility or a contract or anything to anybody, follow it up. One of the problems we have in this government is that they don't follow up every assignment. When you follow it up, the person doing it will sit up. There is a lot of lapses and eye services in this state. And a governor who really wants to do well will not sit and watch those things happen. You can't give me a responsibility and then walk away like that. There must be supervision. There must be correction. There must be discipline when necessary, so that the people that are doing this job will sit up. I'll give you a typical example. Look at Abia Road. Drainages for the past 7 years. Just drainage. By May next year, this government will elapse. And another government will come and continue from Abia Road. How many kilometers is Abia Road? I'm saying because this is where I live. You get me? So, when you give somebody a job, follow him up. That's why you're the leader. If he fails, discipline him. The courts are not there for nothing. Withdraw whatever. So if a man has audacity as the sitting governor, there are things he will not tolerate. I tell experiences I have. You come out from Musoma Junction, get to park, they will molest you more than 4 places. Even the private vehicle. They tell you, get this, get that, get that. Why would we be busy? Government will be busy collecting taxes from the people, both unlawful taxes. And people are shouting every day. And the governments will keep quiet. Why? I remember when I was a small boy, I told you I grew up in this town, 1976. My father has a house. My father had a building here. When you finish your building, you go to somewhere there. water board. You pay, they connect water to you. Every month you go and pay a little token, and you have your water. But today, you build a house, you sink a borehole, you pay government. Because you sank a borehole, you still pay government. It's not right. This is just one typical example. Collecting revenues when you don't do something for the people. I'm not saying it's the government, but they see these people who do these things. What are they doing? They're not protecting us. And if you react, they say you've taken the laws into your hands. You can't beat a child and tell him not to cry. When you beat a child, you allow him to cry. These are the things because when you put these things in place, somebody will walk out of his house and walk out, do his businesses without fear of molestation. But here you can't. You can't talk.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Reverend Lemibe, the Abia Christian community talked about rescuing Abia from idolatry.
Yes.
Are you saying that Abia is in bondage? Is that what you're saying?
Obviously. The indices is replete before us. We can have a lot of evidences to show this. And I want to ask us again, if it is a rhetoric, what is actually happening? Is anything working here? Why do we have governors that will complain from time to time? Is it really true that the governors don't want to have a testimony for their tenure? It is only an evidence that they are laboring under a hegemony, of course, from an adulterous condition. Every rational human being will want to leave an evidence of good governance in his time. But I can tell you, and I can bear our governance out, that the state is under siege of idolatrous commitment. Let me be a little bit specific. In 2005, we were at Okigwe Camp of Faith and in prayers, and it was revealed to us by God that Abia State has been sold to idolatry by our leaders, and that is what we are suffering today. It is on this behalf that we are calling for Abia redemption. If Abia is spiritually redeemed, every human effort will work out positively. Thank you very much.
Okay, Reverend Sivai is saying that when the foundation is faulty, there is nothing the righteous cannot do. Do you agree with him?
Yes, totally agree. But let me talk about other aspects of our foundation, which sometimes I tend to blame the clergy. You see, the church has a big role to play in redeeming Abia. Outside prayers, we have a choice. Abians have a choice. Where I blame the clerics is that you see people who think that they're already made. They walk into the church, maybe you have a large congregation, they walk into the church, make donations, make promises, and you start campaigning for them. It's wrong. If you want to campaign for anybody, let it not be a Christian by registration. Let it be a Christian by new birth. I will explain. Somebody that you know that has been washed by the blood, sat under tutelage, grew up as a worker, and then you mentor him to a reasonable extent. If that person becomes the governor tomorrow, you as a cleric can stand bold to correct him, can stand bold to say, shh, this is not what I taught you. But if somebody walks in and you put him in an elevated position, you can't correct him. This is one of the major problems of the church. We need to look out for those people who grew up under tutelage of reputable men of God.